Om nom nom. I'm so totally ready for this. um, mm, 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 Morning, everybody. I hope everyone had a nice week so far. A nice Friday evening. I know I did. I wasn't around yesterday. I was with the mechanics yesterday, taking apart a variable vane turbo thing. It was well exciting. So yeah, no coding was done yesterday. So we're basically at the same place that we were on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. That was the last stream. At the end of the last stream, we were trying to add some KiCad support. And we got so far through it, and then there was some things that were stopping us to do it. One of which was criteria. Criteria. Okay, let's switch back over to the IDE. Do we need a quick recap of what we were trying to do, or does everybody remember? Okay, quick recap. Okay, this is KiCad. Here we go. This is KiCad. And we basically created a schematic in it. And then we put all these things on a board. And then we exported a file. The file was, here we go. This one, like this, right? So we're basically dealing with this kind of pick and place file. Prior to that, we've been dealing with, oopsie daisy, the dip trace pick and place files, which look a bit different. They've basically got different fields and so on in them. But we're mostly interested in matching the parts at the moment. We're not interested in the side, the location, the rotation, all that kind of stuff. That's going to come later. So, where did we get to? Let's run all the tests and find out. Well, I mean, we've got some tests that pass. Let's run the other test. I did do this one is our failing test. Not yet implemented. And the things that's not yet implemented is this, which is where we try and map a part from an EDA part to a part mapping, try and map a part to a, try and map an EDA placement to a part using a placement to part mapping. Whew. There we go. Just to remind everybody of the current state of affairs, where we go, hold on, this is where we were. So we're dealing with the part mappings over here, the parts, and these mapping rules down here. That's what we're sort of dealing with. But for KiCad, not for dip trace. Righto. So yeah, we've got this to do here. Now, there's a few different ways we can go, which I was talking about on Thursday. It's like, do we create a more generic criteria object, and so on. And one of the possibilities is, yes, we do. We throw away the existing one and create a new one. But the problem is we're in the middle of trying to do something else right now, and I don't know whether this generic one is really the right approach that we should be taking right now. And whether we should just implement the KiCad exact matching one, the same as we did for the dip trace one. On the end of that stream on Thursday, I was getting slightly confused by the exact match criteria because it doesn't have the word dip trace in front of it. And the reason it doesn't have the word dip trace in front of it is, well, possibly A, oversight, but also B, because it lives in the dip trace module. Right. And when I was looking at this, I'd forgot that it lives in the dip trace module. There's a couple of ways we can make it more clear as to where it's used. Is firstly by renaming it. Because a lot of the other objects that we have got like the word dip trace in front of it. But you don't always want to do that. But when you're using one kind of object, which is similar to another kind of object, and they both have the same name, and they're called exact match criteria, you either have to then start using the module name in front of it when you're actually using it. So we could, for instance, where was our to do? We could, for instance, do this, right? And import dip trace module, and then do it like this. or we could rename it, or we could alias it. The import statement. So the exact match criteria here comes from this, but you can do things in Rust like this as dip trace exact match criteria. So you can alias things when you import them. And then if we were to go back to where it was failing and replace this, you see this, and then that now compiles. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably going to be clearer initially to rename the structure so that it's got dip trace in front of it, even though it's in the dip trace module. Yeah, and then we build a KiCad one that sort of works in the same way. So I think that's what we're going to do real quick. But there's too many things for one commit. So renames, it's good to do renames as a separate commit if you're working on this stuff, because then the reason for that is if you're then submitting a pull request, if you're submitting a pull request and it's got a bunch of commits related to what you're doing, it's handy to be able to review the different bits of that commit without the rename, because the rename can have sort of like far-reaching consequences, and it then dilutes the rest of the pull request. It makes the pull request much harder to review. So if you do renames as a separate commit, it helps everybody else reviewing commits, reviewing pull requests. Sorry, well, and commits as well. Yeah. So what we're going to do then is do a quick git status, and we can do this from the IDE as well. Well, there's a couple of different ways. One way is stashing it, and one way is just creating a commit with where we are now. So I think what we're going to do is create a commit as to where we are now, and then create another commit on another branch, and then put this commit on top of it after the other branch, and then go from there. Stashing it might be easier. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to do a temporary branch. Git checkout -b KiCad or 1. Sure. And then we're just going to do a work in progress commit here. Work in progress. And then we're going to check for unversioned files, because we've got some KiCad assets here now, which we want. So we'll include those as well. Okay, work in progress. Jobs are good. Right. So now if we go back to the master branch, all the KiCad stuff has disappeared, and we can go into the criteria thing here and then do a rename on this to call it not that one, this one. We're going to rename it like that, and this will have made a number of changes, and we can run all the tests just to make sure everything still works, obviously. Tests, go. Right, everything works fine. Everything's fine. So we'll quickly review that and create a commit message. Well, rename, I don't know. Rename exact match criteria. I don't need to look at the code to know what we did because I just did it. But what did the IDE do? It made a bunch of changes like this. Okay. Oops. I went too far there, didn't I? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Right, and this is where we're going to change things shortly. And then we've got this one over here, and yeah, it's just renames. It's fine. There's nothing that, it's called criteria over here on the left, so nothing really to rename on the variable, on the assignments that we used. So that's fine. So it's done. Right, great. Okay, so now we can check out the KiCad support branch and rebase it on master. And we're going to have some merge conflicts, but we're not going to worry about that too much. Where are we? And then we go. Oh, look, I haven't seen this before. This is new. Continue rebase. No. Do you have to do... You normally have to do this. There we go. So basically, we want everything. And... Oh. Yeah. We want this, but not this. Anything else? Yes. So... Well, we want this, and we want this, but we don't want that. Okay. And nothing more. Right. And I suppose I could click this button here, or I could go get rebase, continue here. There we go, rebased. Dunsky. Dunsky dooski. Righto, so now we can go back to the failing test, which should still be failing, right? This one. And at least it compiles still, so that's good. And then now we're here, and now we're here. Right, great. So now it's sort of clearer that we're using a dip trace thing here, so that when we write the KiCad one, we can put KiCad in the name, and then it's clearer for anybody reading this. You know, I've got this to-do thing here. Consider importing this. We use dip trace explicitly. That's what I just talked about there. We'll make it more generic. Maybe we'll make it more generic. I'm going to delete this to-do for now. Righto. So we need to create one of these things, really. We need to create a criterion. So we're going to take the dip trace one. And remember that the difference between the dip trace one was two fields. There was the val and there was the package. That was it. So we're going to go KiCad exact match criteria. And we're going to use the package and the val. Right, but we don't have this. Where was this one? This one was in here. No. Yes. And also... Wait, what? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I'm like, what am I doing looking here? Mapping? Mapping? No. This one. Where's this? That's better. Right, so we've got this criteria thing, and we created this. So let's do the same here. Pub mod criteria. And then let's create the file. There we go. And for the dip trace one, we have this and all its tests. And some of you are going to be shocked by what I'm about to do. Copy. Paste. Search. Why not, right? Have we got this name and value? No. Package and val, right? And this one needs to be package everywhere. And this one needs to be val everywhere. Right, and then we've got name and value one like this. And we've got this import thing. Oh, I should have done a case sensitive search. Why didn't you guys tell me? Why didn't you tell me, eh? I mean, how can I trust you? Garlic bread for breakfast, yes. Nice. Yeah, in Spain, everybody eats pan tostada, which is bread cut in half, like a bap kind of thing, cut in half, toasted, then with tomato on the top, and then olive oil on the top. Very common. But the tomato is sometimes it has garlic in it as well. It'd be pretty nice. And they sometimes put a pinch of salt on it too. Pretty tasty. And if you're getting really frisky, you can get a bit of garlic and rub it on your bread first. Right. Hmm. This looks a bit funky. Yeah, okay. We'll come back to that in a moment. Right. Searching and replacing. So package 1, right? Val 1. Sure. And then we've got this to-do thing here. I'm like, that what I did the other day there was wrong. It doesn't match. It can't match a KiCad one. It can only use the dip trace one, and the KiCad one can only use the KiCad one, and it can't use the dip trace one, so you get false. Yeah. Okay. So let's run all these tests just to see what happens. Does it compile? Okay, we're missing an import. Run that again. Arms have incompatible match, right? So, right. So one of the issues we've got here is that it thinks that this is going to be one of these, but it needs to be one of these, I think. So if we say that here, and then let's see what happens here. Match arms have incompatible times. This needs to be an option. Why? Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. Perhaps we can probably change this so that it is that, and then, yeah, I'm not sure about this. Yeah, but this needs to be... how do we do it? Why? Oh, it's because it's got this here. Right, okay, sorry. We're going to have to put the criterion in the bot here. I think this might be one approach to do it. And then take this box new out from here and move the box new up. Because then it should be able to know the size of this. And then the match arms will be okay. And I don't know. Should be okay. I think it should be okay. No. Ambiguous associated type. Oh, this is fun. Uh, oh, duh. What happened here? What happened there? Oh, okay, interesting. Am I missing? What am I missing here? No. Interesting. Okay, how about we don't return the criteria in here? How about we create the criteria list of criteria here, and then add it to it here? Hmm. A little bit tricky. Is this one of those situations where you can use impl or something? Because you can't use it on you can use it on method and method return value position and a bunch of other things. Yeah, I'm not sure. Because we need to bail out of here if it doesn't match one of these types of things, and I'm not sure how to do that yet. But let's get rid of this for now, and get rid of this, and then go to do. And then instead of returning something, so to avoid the match arms a different type problem, we can just add it directly to the criteria. Which of course then needs to be mutable. Um, Part mapping record error, unable to build criteria. Seemed reasonable. Why? Oh, return. Oh. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh yeah, I'm returning something here, not somewhere else. Okay. Right, where we go? Where do we get to? That compiles. Look in the KiCad test pass. We probably should review those. Um, Matches. So if you've got a KiCad exact match criteria with package and val, with ref des and place and whatever, then and you've got some details, then it matches it. Great. Doesn't match due to package. Oh well, yeah, okay. I mean, yes, but also no. It doesn't match due to val. Yeah, package is different. Doesn't match. Val is different. Doesn't match. That's kind of what we want. Right, now we've got. Remember the other day where I was talking about like refactoring too early might be dangerous. and some duplication, some temporary duplication, it is okay. Because only once you see the entire picture does it make sense to do refactoring. And in this particular case, it was, maybe it's fairly easy to see the entire picture and you just go ahead and start without copying and pasting. Most of the time, that's not true. Perhaps a good time to do refactoring this is when we added support for something else, like, I don't know, Eagle or something. Eagle support. Does anybody want Eagle support? Really? In 2024? I don't really want to build Eagle support. Eagle should die. So if we don't build support for it into the tools that make our lives nicer, then hopefully people will migrate to the programs that are better. Well, better in the air quotes, right? Okay, moving on. Where did we get to? Right, so our unit test passed, but this thing still no passy. Empty refdes list. Kind of not what I was expecting. I was expecting another not implemented thing to happen. Okay. What's happening then? We've got an empty refdes list. Where's this come from? Project, whatever. Empty refdes list. So we have a processing error, which is created here when we're trying to. Oh. Yeah. We're going to have to fix this. We're going to have to fix this. Yeah. Okay, let me bring up my notes. Bear with me just one moment while I bring up notes. Hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. Notes. So something like to do allow use something like default assembly variant when no variant are used. Right. Sort of what we want to happen at some point is if you don't specify that you want an assembly variant, then you just use all the placements in the file, like a default. Yeah, okay, fine. So what we're going to have to do, because we don't have that, is go back to the test and add assembly variant args, which is this stuff. But this is only temporary. Only temporary. Should go somewhere around here. Now for this, our refdes list is just R1 at the moment. Okay, basically I don't want to have these arguments, and I just want to use all the things in the file. All the placements in the file. I have to remind myself not to use the word thing. Yes. Say the name of the thing. Right, here we go then. So now why does it fail now? Okay, not yet implemented. That's what I was expected to see. Right, good. So, ooh, look. We have to format KiCad placement thingamajiggamies. Okay, fine. Yes, because they have different values, which seems reasonable. So we can go KiCad placement details label with the D, and then copy and paste this and do a bit of renaming. KiCad, which one of these takes a KiCad placement details, which needs to be imported. And instead of using name and value, we have package and file. Right. That's that fixed. No. Right. Okay, let's see what the error says. So we've got this incompatible match arms thing again, and it's saying use box done display with a lifetime with a anonymous lifetime. Okay, so format. Yeah, okay, we'll do this. Sure. We'll see where it goes. We'll see how good the suggestion is. So done display plus whatever. And then we can put it in a box like it says. And now both of these things implement display like it says here. But we use dynamic dispatch. And surprisingly, and this is Rust is weird like this sometimes, surprisingly, there were no other changes that I needed to make to the caller of format. Did you all see that? That was weird, right? I was expecting to have to go into here and change something, like take it out of the box. But apparently, you don't need to. And if you want, you can dig into the Rust standard library's implementation of box to work out why that happens. It's because when you dereference a box like this, it lets you have access to the thing. And the dispatch method is completely different now, even though we didn't have to change a single line of code to make it work. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting, isn't it? A little bit spooky in Magic sometimes. A little bit spooky in Magic. Boxes are very special in Rust. If you've ever dug into the standard library, has anybody looked at the standard library in Rust? The implementation of box. It's got some weird, like, compiler tag things in here. Like, fundamental, like, what? So when the compiler, Rust compiler itself, comes along and finds this, instead of like doing what it would normally do, it does other things instead. It's very odd. Yeah, there's the deref thing, I think is one. Like the implementations of some of these things are odd. Where's the really fun one? Yeah, we're getting a little bit sidetracked here. I don't want to go too far off track. But for optionally sized things, there's some weird ones. Where is it? Can't find that. Yeah, can't find the thing that I found before. I dug into it at one point. I can't remember why. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Anyway, moving on. Let's just clear up these errors. Unreachable pattern. Well, yeah, we've got both, haven't we? Okay, we'll leave that off like that for now. At some point, we might go back and say this part mapping record. is a non-exhaustive enum. Currently, it's an exhaustive enum, so we don't need to do this because the compiler knows that there's only this one, and you've done both of them. But if we wanted to make it a little bit more extendable, which you normally do when you put things in crates and so on to allow other people to write code against the crate in a way that allows you to modify that crate or that enum in the future by adding things to it. If you don't put non-exhaustive on your enums and you put those enums in a crate and everyone starts using a crate, it then becomes a breaking change to add something to the enum unless you use non-exhaustive. Right. But not today. Not today. When we rearrange all the code into crates, we can probably come back and have a look at some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't normally like leaving in commented out code as well, but in the early stages of sort of project, yeah, sort of more reminder. Maybe it would be better if I went to do investigate using non-exhaustive on the part mapping record. There we go. That's going to be better. Okay, fine. And now we've got a reason for the commented out code, because the thing with commented out code is if you see a bit of commented out code, the reason for the fact that it's commented out code is not often apparent, especially if you're not using a version tracker so that you can go back to the original line of code, the original commit that commented out the code, or B, if you don't have wait, is that the same? Am I going to say the same thing again? Or you just don't have any form of version control at all? Yes, it was the same thing as I just said. You're not using a version control system that doesn't have the ability to go back to it. Hey, I'm rambling. Oh, I can't type. You guys didn't tell me. How do you spell exhaustive? Okay, fine. Close. Yeah. Anyway, going back to comments. Try to keep some note visible next to the bit of code that's commented out, so that the other readers of the code don't have to trawl through the Git history to find out why it's commented out. I guess is the takeaway from this. Right. So we shall try and remember that going forward as well. I think there might be a couple of other places where I've committed a sin. Right. Okay. So we were dealing with warnings and trying to make the test run. Dealing with warnings. Unused import. Yeah, because I just commented it out. So fine. When we put it back in, then that will come back. Fine. Unused variable. Wait. It worked. Magic. I didn't even notice that there wasn't anything else left to do, and everything, and the KiCad support is done. Apparently, it's totes done. I didn't even notice. Brilliant. I love it when that happens. But it's not done now. Look, it's not done. It's not done. How can it be done? Yeah, but this is an edit trace substitution. Oh well, yeah. I mean, because like, this is wrong. This should be false. Anything else should be false. That's what the problem is there. I imagine it's the same here. Substitute. Match substitute. KiCad ref. Yeah, we haven't dealt with the substitutions yet. So, I mean, like, you know, our KiCad support is not done. It just means that we haven't got enough tests. So I suppose we better change the test. Should we do a commit at this point? Not really. Yeah. Okay. Let's deal with this warning. Let's deal with the warning. All right. So go back to the test. Right. So this is the test, and apparently we need to do some substitution. Now, do we want to do KiCad substitutions in the same way that we did dip trace substitutions and verify that the output is correct? One part of me says yes. Another part of me says no. Test it at the unit level. Are there ways to help me decide which direction to go? Test at functional level, test at unit test level. Okay, so what aren't we doing in our test right now? Okay, let's see. Let's see. So in our test for the dip trace stuff, we are looking at the expected part mapping tree. And the expected part mapping tree has things like substitutions, and it's also got name and value, right? Name pattern and value pattern, and all this kind of stuff, right? But for the KiCad, it needs to be package and val and package pattern and val pattern, right? And then this thing here needs to be package and val and so on. So if we added a substitution for this single resistor, which did the substitution, then that would cause us to have to write the substitution rules, and also it would verify the fact that we could print out the tree properly, because a little bit ago we added that tree formatting code, but there's no test on that yet. So I was thinking as I did that, I'm like, we probably need a test for this. So this would be that test for that. So let's copy this. Yeah. And then KiCad. And part mappings. When we do this, then some stuff happens. Expected mapping thing is going to be this. Quotes, bracket, semicolon. Okay. Going to need to fix up this a little bit. Goodbye. And for those wondering, I don't have an insert key on my keyboard. Normally, if you're doing like ASCII things, you press insert and you just like over type. But I don't have an insert key on my keyboard. I can't remember what I've mapped it to. I'm using a split keyboard with programmable keys. Yeah. Maybe I do have it. Hold on. I do have it. I don't remember the last time I pressed that key. I think it's been a while. Okay, so yeah, look. Wow, look, I can do that now. Brilliant. Okay, I lied. I do have an insert key. Everything's fine. Okay, so we're going to delete this. And we're going to delete this. And we're going to say that the package is some KiCad package. Right? And the value is that still. And then we substitute it. We haven't got the substitution rule, but let's go with same package, and then package pattern. Hopefully this makes sense to like people that use KiCad. Because this is the problem with the EDA tools that they are. There's no differentiation between footprint and package, and there's no proper differentiation between it. So it's this sort of mishmash of stuff. Because this is like, I mean, what is this? Is this a package? No, it's a footprint. But it also defines other things in KiCad, right? Like, what do we see on here? Oh, see, when you click on it, that's interesting. Look, the dialogue that appears, the name of the dialogue that appears is footprint properties, but it has a value of footprint. Wait, what? Eh? Okay, that's confusing. Um, yeah. So a footprint. This is how my brain is understanding what I'm seeing on the screen. It says a footprint has a footprint. Okay. I mean, here it's not really a footprint, is it? Like it's just like, what is this? It's like I mean, inside the EDA tool, is it a placement? Really? Should it say placement properties with a footprint? Probably. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on. And then it's got attributes, footprint type. Curious. Curious. Is it not just like, I don't know, placement object or something like that? I don't know. Object might be a bit too jargony. Anyway, I'm not trying to solve the world of KiCad. We're trying to solve the world of putting stuff on a circuit board for those people that use KiCad. Okay, so expected part mapping tree, yada yada yada. Right, manufacturer's going to be this. So now we need a substitution, and we have some substitutions. And we've actually got a sort of recursive substitution thing as well going on in this dip trace test. But mapping for resistor, mapping. No, do we want the substitution before the mappings? So they should be above it. Parts, loadout, global substitutions, per assembly variant substitutions. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're going to grab this chunk here. Not that chunk. But we're going to need the arg. Okay, let me just copy this because I can't be bothered to scroll back up and find it all. And then we go to the KiCad test. That one. And after the placements, we're going to put in the substitutions. And then we're going to delete the second one. First one. We're just going to call it global substitution. Then we're going to delete this. And then we're going to create a substitution that we write to the file. Yeah, okay. And then we're going to add, we'll come back to that, substitution to arg. Okay. Substitution. Right. So we're in KiCad land, aren't we? So instead of it being name pan, oh no, substitution records are going to need some work. We want to say package pan and val pan and package val. All right then. I kind of want to have Sturday do this for us instead of going this whole optional thing, because we did a bunch of optional stuff in the other one. If we don't do it, what's going to happen is that we're going to be changing the dip trace test. Okay, let's rename this. Let's do it differently. Let's do it differently. Let's do it like this. I don't want to change this. This is what I want to write to the CSV file, and I don't want to change the inputs to the dip trace tests. So we go package and val, package and val for the KiCad substitution record. That's what we want to do. Right. So everywhere this is used is fine, but our KiCad test should be using this one instead. Thus. Okay. Right. Let's see what happens now. Maybe we'll get the to-do. Oh, we've got a deserialization error. Load EDA substitution. All right. What is going on here? So a CSV substitution record has these things. I think we might be in the same problem that we had on Thursday. Because this tries to create a EDA substitution. And our other CSV bloody thing, did we end up not putting optional in those things? Yeah, we did this, right? For the part mapping record. So we're going to need to do the same thing for these. Because in the place where we load it, it might have these fields, but it might not. So we have to make this option. right? And then it would support dip trace. Something like that, right? And then like the KiCad ones, right? We should probably use dip with a capital T. Probably need to do that in a few more places. KiCad package val, right, like so. But that I'm sure will have broken some things. Yeah. Now we have this same problem in the other one. We've got this try from art mapping record. Hold on a second. Let me go back to where that was. This try from. Why is can I not make it follow? Am I not doing that? I wanted to make this follow this. Try from. Yeah, I wanted to get to this. The other ones. Right. So here we unwrap directly, but we know this is a problem. We're gonna add a fix me here. If the CSV file columns don't exist, right? And we're going to use this same comment here when we do the same thing, and then we'll come back at some point, maybe not as part of this commit, and fix those all together in the same way. Right, because really you only want to do the unwrap if you've got all the columns, right? Yeah. Righto. Well, fine. So now if we run it, maybe we'll get into this. Yeah, unknown EDA. Perfect. Yeah, there's something funny going on here. Look, we've got this quotes around this. This EDA value has got quotes on it. Why would it have quotes on it there? Hmm. Oh, it's because we've got a question mark here. It shouldn't be like that. There, that fixed that. We don't have a test for the formatter for that. Arguably there should be one. Because the question mark makes it use the debug. Without the question mark, it uses display. The traits, the formatter traits, right? So, okay, right. So this is what we now need to implement. So we need to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, let's just copy paste. KiCad. KiCad substitution, which apparently we don't have yet. And this is going to be a KiCad substitution record, and it's going to have a package pattern, and a val pattern, and a package, and a val. And yes, probably I could have done some searchy replacing, but it's not too bad. Okay. We don't have these. So we've got this dip trace substitution record, and that lives in dip trace. And it looks like this. Let's have a look and see if we've got a KiCad one. So we don't. So we're going to need one of these that's the same. Where was it in here? It was underneath the placement record at the end of the file. Fine. KiCad substitution record. Package. Val. Feels like there should just be like a list of fields or something at this point, but the problem is that the fields don't work well for CSV files, and yes. Okay, so we can import this now, right? But we don't have this yet. Let me copy that to the clipboard. And this is our to-do that we've not done yet. It's going to be that. Right. And what are we looking at here? We're looking at implement substitution record. So when we're calling this build method, where we're doing the deserialization in loader, we need to add support for the KiCad ones now. I'm sure I just wrote some code that looked exactly the same as this just a moment ago. Okay. KiCad substitution record, EDA substitution rule, details of type KiCad, where the rule details, which doesn't exist yet, is supposed to contain, yeah, because one's CSV land and the other's non-CSV land, which is why these look very similar. Package. Okay, so now we need this, which is going to look like that. And then we need one of these, which is going to look like this. And that lives in the EDA package. Right. And this is where we have all our formatting stuff for the trees and all this kind of thing, right? We could test some of this formatting at the unit level. At the moment, we've only got it at the integration test level, but it is tested nonetheless. We are going to need all of this stuff. because where we call format change, we're going to need this in a minute because we've got this here, this error. The what was the name of this error? It was doesn't cover all cases. Match error. So we're going to need all of this. We're even going to need all this substitute stuff. Wait. This is wrong. Okay, let's fix this a little bit first. So when you call substitute on a dip trace substitution rule details, and you try and substitute it you try and substitute it using an EDA placement of the wrong type, as in one that's not a dip trace one, then you can't do that. We can't write the code inside the dip trace implementation for substitute, right? For the KiCad one, that doesn't make any sense. Perhaps this code shouldn't live here. Let's have a think about that. Let's see where this is called. This is interesting. So we got details.substitute. If you move it somewhere else, it could fail. If you keep where it is, it needs to fail because there's no way of doing it. So in both cases, it's failable. Okay, so I think perhaps this substitute thing needs to be extracted from there. Let's there's a couple of ways to do this. Like I've got this object-orientated brain, right? And because I've been doing it for so many years, and when I see functions just like randomly placed, I mean, you could argue that it's in a mod and therefore it's not randomly placed. That don't belong to a structure or a thing. It sort of irks my brain a little bit. So my first thought is to create a new structure called whatever, and then have an implementation of whatever, which has an associated function. And then I name this thing more appropriately, like something like substitute door. All right, substitute. Great, fine, it makes sense. If you didn't do that, then the name of the method that you would call on the EDA substitution, yeah, it might be a bit funky. I don't know. Okay, so we moved it, and that's definitely going to cause problems. And this needs to be a result of something. And if the substitution details is a dip trace one, yeah, but this was on the details. This self is the details, right? That's what it was. Yeah, but then you can't access this. Where's this used? This is used here. So we need to pass this in, I think. Here. Yes. And then we can say something like details, comma. And then if it's if the source is a dip trace one, yeah, that works, doesn't it? And the destination one is of the same type, as in both of the things you're working with have to be for dip trace, right? Then you can use them both to do your substitution, which then allows us to do the same thing for the KiCad one. Something like that. We need a comma here, though. And what are we returning? Right, okay, we need to go we need to go okay substitute, I think, here. And we've got to do here. We're missing a bracket, that's why it's complaining. We've got the to do here, substitutes that, right. Value used after being moved. Um, reference to the details. And then we need the other match arm, which is where it could fail. I don't know what the type of the error is yet. We'll come back to it. To do more descriptive. Error handling. Okay, fine. Right, so we've got this call to substitute that we were doing somewhere. EDA substitute, and then it uses the details substitutor. Okay, so let me rename this to details substitutor. And if we compile this, it should give us a, can't find a method called substitute. That's what we're looking for, right? So we were trying to apply these substitution rules. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Jesus Christ. Babies making horrible screaming noises outside my window. It's not good. I think it might have died. Uh, right, so this wasn't found in here. So this is what we're trying to fix. We've got our substitution rule. And if it's a dip trace one, then you call details on the dip trace one. But this logic has now moved into the into that little substituter thing. Which mean, and that can fail, which means this can fail. So that's annoying. Okay. This is detail substitute self, comma, EDA placement. Something like that, I think, maybe. Oh, this is self.details. But you need a reference to it. Okay. Let's just say dot expected for now. Okay. And we'll add it to do that. Yeah, because we need to deal with this, but I don't want to fix that right now. I want to do the KiCad bit first, and then we'll come back to it. So we've got the dip stage substitution rule details. This should say rule details. And that was this without the substitute method that was previously getting in the way and we couldn't write it anyway. Now we can take this, duplicate it, and rename it to the KiCad one. And then we can fix up the names of these things, which is package pattern, val pattern, and package and val, right? And then we need to fix up how it's presented so that it matches what we had in our test. Let's just double check that test again. Who can see the test? I can't see the test. Where's the test? We did package and oh, val. Okay. I'm glad I went back to check that. Right, package and val. And then we've got package pattern and val pattern, which we also just looked at. So that should match that. And then if it's has details of type KiCad details, then it can go if our package pattern matches the details is package and the value pattern matches, sorry, the val pattern matches the details is val, then it matches. Fine. And we can use our named fields properly. Yeah, see, it might be that these EDA placements and all this kind of stuff for these things just need like a list of fields, really, rather than having to be named explicitly. And we just work with, like, get field by name, whatever, and then we match on that. I think that's probably where this will end up going. Instead of using hard-coded field names in these things. But right now, we've got specific ones for specific EDA tools that we're using instead of generic ones. It's going to be interesting to refactor that. Okay, where are we now then? Let's press go. So we can't find this because we've not imported it. That's fine. We've got mismatched types. This expression has type, rule details, and placement detail. Here, yes, because this needs to be something like this, I think. Maybe. Are we using the wrong brackets? I think it's supposed to be like that. Because we've got to use the enum, right? If the rule is KiCad and the rule has these things, what do the rules have? Rule details. Yeah. Is that right? Source details dot. I'm not sure now. I think my brain hurts a little bit. Let's see if the compiler can help my brain. No, that doesn't make any sense. What is supposed to be in here? Oh, okay, right. Duh. Okay. Thanks, compiler. All right. Yeah. Right. So now we need to do the formatting one for the KiCad ones. Fine. So if you've got a KiCad one, you've got some details. Yay. And if you've got some details, then you can go details.format criteria. And away you go. Fine. And this is basically the same as this. KiCad. And, we can start to see patterns emerging, and maybe there should be a trait there or something like that, something that implements format change, something that implements format criteria. To do, consider using a trait for format criteria. Format change. There's quite a lot of to-dos going on in this. Do, yeah. Can't borrow it in. Okay, why? Placement. Oh, I see. Yeah. Hmm. Because we're trying to mutate the details of this substitute, right? And when we go over here, we say that this placement details that's in here is the of the type that we want, and then we want to change it here with this assignment, right? So we need a mutable reference over here so that we can write ref mute over here without creating a new reference. This is weird, I know. It's like ref mut, and then you've got ref mut like this. In my head, this means don't create a new reference. Use the existing reference. Unused variable. Right, so we've not done this yet. We're getting there, though. I think we're actually getting there now. So now if we've got a KiCad source details that we want to update, and we can update our exact our yes, we can update our substitute. Arguably, this should be sort of like substitute details here. Let's change this. I think that's going to be better. It's going to read better down here. Yeah. We do the same here. Come on, give me. Thank you, IDE. It's going to be the source details package pattern cloned. Right. Same for the val pattern. And then we say everything was fine. No. Everything was fine with this. And we don't need it to do anymore. Now what? Okay. Right, so we added our tree, but we didn't add the assertion to it. So let's add the assertion. So in the previous test, we assert the tree somewhere down here. So we have to get the trace log somehow. We'll refresh our memory in a bit on how we did that. And then we need to do the assert that thing. And we probably need to add some other assert. Now's probably a fairly good time to do that, actually. And we assert in order that some things happen. And we're going to say that a placement was loaded and one substitution loaded. Yeah, I don't care about that one. Well, maybe we do. And it happens after that. So that'll do for now, and we can add the others. We add the other things in a bit. Right, so we need this trace content. Before we got that by doing this. And we also print it out in the test. Right. Expected part mapping tree is that, yes. Loaded a placement, yes. What else do we need to say happened? A substitution. Let's copy this over for a moment. Just so that it's a little bit closer to where we want the things. We're definitely going to need this, and that happens after the placements got loaded. Oops. And we are only loading one substitution rule, and we're loading it from the global substitution file name. The other test is actually missing an assert that I just noticed. Where is it? Because there's two. There should be two. Look at that. How many did we put in that? One. And these are arguably the wrong way round. And there should be another assert for the second file that we're using. I'll commit that separately. Right. So placements, parts. We had in our thing here. We've got one part. There should be like one of everything, you know. This is more simple. This one. One parts. Yes. No loadout items. We haven't got any assembly rules for this. We do have an assembly variant currently. We don't really want the assembly variant, but nonetheless, currently have it. And we should match one placement for the assembly variant, which again we don't really need. Then we match the tree, and there shouldn't be any mapping failures. Okay, let's run that. Well, the dip trace one still worked, even after I added those extra asserts, the extra assert just there for the other file, which is good. Right, what happened? Auto selected, yeah. that's true. It should be auto selected here because there is only one, right? We added that rule. That's correct. Is there anything else that's different? Yes, apparently there is. What's missing is the substitution. Why is the... Oh, it's because things don't line up. Yes, because we didn't I copied and pasted this in, but then got distracted by something else, I think, and then forgot to update this. What we want here is this part mapping record to match this value, and then our substitution should substitute 330R for that and leave the package, but only when the package and value map, but the package remains unchanged. That's what we want. Did it do a substitution? No. Now it's got confuzzled. So the package pattern is this. The value pattern is this. So you're supposed to get this. Let's have a look. Global substitution file, created it. It loaded the things because we're failing at this tree assert, so we know it loaded it, so there's no point looking at that. So it's probably just on our test setup that stuff is wrong. So we said R1 is a package of this and a val of this. So if you see package of this and a val of this, you're supposed to replace it with this and this. Right. Okay. But our part mapping needs to be updated. No, it's the part mapping's right. So if the package is this and the value is this, then the manufacturer's supposed to be this and this. Okay, maybe our test setup is okay. Maybe there's something we didn't do in the production code. Yeah. We're passing the substitutions. Yeah, we know we are. Got the parts. It's not matching the substitution. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's run the unit test and see what, because there might be some problems in the unit tests. No. So we have a test where we do a substitution, and currently it only uses the dip trace ones. Let's say dip trace here. Yeah, I don't like this. There's a lot of copying and pasting going on. We need to do the same kind of thing, but for KiCad. To see where the problem is. So when EDA substitute is called with some EDA placements, then we're supposed to get the expected results. Fine. The expected results are supposed to be this kind of thing. Except that instead of it being a dip trace one, dip trace, it's going to be the KiCad one. And the KiCad doesn't have names of values, it has package and val. Yeah, this would be a lot better if we just had this sort of like field name thing, I think, because there's a lot of test duplication going on. Where literally the only thing is different is the name of the field and the content of the field. Right, so in order to do that, we're going to need these things out of order. And in order to do that, We're going to need the rules that need to be applied. Dip trace. Cool. And then we need some placements as well. Okay. Surprisingly, that works. That's interesting then, isn't it? Oh, it didn't run the test. We didn't copy the attribute. Yes. Okay, now we've got a problem. Right, good. Okay. So what's happening? So we've got all the stuff, and all the stuff looks okay, but it didn't apply properly. So substitute. We go through the details. We ask to see if it matches, and then if it does, then we apply it. Why is this saying dip trace here? Oh, because we didn't change this one. Duh. Let's just make sure these correspond. So we've got package and val, package and val, package and val, package and val, package and val. Still fails. Right. So now we've got a KiCad placement detail, and we're supposed to have a substituted package. Oh. The expected results is this one on the right here. That's wrong. Resulting placement, package and val, right? And there was no chain that was applied. There should have been a chain that was applied. And the chain that was supposed to be applied was supposed to be this, where the package and val was changed to the intermediate package and val, and then the intermediate package and val was changed to the substituted package and val, right? That's what we want, but it didn't happen. Okay, fine. Now we've got something. Now we've got something we can work with. Let's see if the rule matching failed. Yes, look. We haven't added the support for KiCad here. Let's do that. Oh, well, that's odd. Why doesn't that work? Why did it crash? Why did it crash? So if you've got a package and you return it and you go, yeah, then it returns. So it's not matching it. Oh, it is matching it. Right, because it's the second one that matches it. Fine. Apply rules this pass 1, and then we apply the rule, and then we add it to the chain. That looks right. And then we start again at the first rule, and we see if this matches now, which it should, but it doesn't. Oh. Okay, I see where the problem is. I think the destination and the source are the same on this, so it keeps matching every single time. Because it's incorrectly set up. The same rule shouldn't be applied. It should never be able to be applied twice because you've basically got a recursive chain going on. Let's see if we screwed that up. Package and val, package and val, package and val, package and val. Right, and then let's look at the dip trace one. Name of val intermediate, intermediate substitute. So we know that the chain works for the dip trace stuff. So I think there must be like some typo in the implementation of the apply method. Substitute. Then we go apply. And then this. Yes. That was a problem. I'm not supposed to be using the copying the pattern across. I'm supposed to be copying the substitutions to fields across. Whoopsie daisy. Probably work now. No. Oh, really? Did we get a chain? We got a chain this time. That's good. This doesn't look right. Still got something going on. Wait, what? So what we got back was placement. The resulting placement as... Oh, our test setup might be wrong here. Oh, yeah, our expected results is wrong. Wait, how? 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 Package of val, package of val, package of val, package of val, package of val. Wait, what? Expected results on the right. We're saying we expect package val here? What? Why does it say package val? That doesn't even make any kind of sense. Oh. It's because I just typed it in the wrong place here, isn't it? Okay, fine. Fine. Everything's fine. Okay, now let's go back to the functional test and see if that works. No, that was not the functional test. I got all excited then. Hey, it works. Happy day. Okay, this is good. This is good. Right. So now let's add assertion for what's supposed to be an expected output. Yeah. So expected output is supposed to be like something like this, basically. Not there though. There. We're supposed to get ref there's manufacturer and place for R1 and nothing more. And this is supposed to be resistor 1. And it's supposed to be placed. That's what we want. Yeah, and then we've got this horrible fix me thing. I'm not going to copy all the fix me's. Going to have to do some test cleanup. Right, and then we use it, we print the content. And this is how we have to do it currently to make it not suck. Are we happy enough with this? Let's just say to do improve testing, improve readability of this version. Use a macro. I'm going to delete this. And put the same comment in here. Okay. Does it still pass? Yes. So we've got some initial KiCad support. Yeah. Success. Happy days. Well, I think it might be time for a commit, and then a coffee, and then I guess we'll see what happens after that. Let's. I'm just going to commit everything to our work in progress commit. Then what we're going to do is do git reset head thingy. What is that character called? Anyway, that then makes all the changes appear again so that we can review everything. Right. So we've got the new assets, which is fine. So we should probably commit this as like a separate thing. Add KiCad example assets. We don't want this. I honestly couldn't. No, we don't want this either. Not sure what this is. FP info cache. Is this something that we should commit or not? I don't know. Let's close KiCad and see what happens. Does the file disappear? No. So we probably should commit it then. Okay. Dunsky. Wait a sec. FP info cache. No. I don't think we're supposed to commit that. Probably could have looked at it before I did the commit there. So we'll add those to git ignore and amend that. Right. Okay, so now we're back to the variant builder. Something like this. Where do we get to? So everything that we've got in here should be stuff to do with KiCad, right? Let's have a look at the test. What did we do? We added initial KiCad support is what we're supposed to be saying. And in order to do that, there was some renaming that happened. Yeah, because we've got different types of substitution records now. Yeah, we've got part mappings, our new part mappings with dip trace defaults now. And then we tell the tool what EDA tool we're using. Yep, we did all that yesterday, I think. We've got the additional assert for the substitution rules. Now, I said I was going to do this as a separate commit. Let me cut that from there then. So I want this and we want this. Add assert for loading substitutions from separate files. Technically, did we already have it? No, we didn't have it. We are adding. Okay, so we've got that as a separate commit. Fine. Now we can go back to this stuff. Got the defaults again. Yeah, for the part mappings, yeah. Reviewed that, right. So then, yeah, we've deleted this other stuff with all this fix me stuff, and then we've just got a to-do there for the future. And then we've got our KiCad stuff where we create some placements, write them to a CSV file, create an argument. Create some substitutions, write them to a file, add the argument. Create some parts, write them to a CSV file, create an argument. Create some part mappings, write them to a CSV file. And these are all KiCad specific stuff with package and val in them. Write them to a file, create an argument, add the output and trace arguments, define what the mapping results should look like, and define what the expected CSV content should look like. And then run the command, print the standard output, and run the command with the KiCad EDA option, and then do the assertions where we check all the different things that happened in the order that they happened. And then we assert the contents of the CSV file is what we expect. Where's the assertion for the... Oh, the assertion for the tree is here. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Okay. And we've updated the other test for the variant builder. Yeah. What it's supposed to look like. We've added a new placement record. We've made it so that when we can write part mappings, we can write optional fields. Now, we probably need to improve this. Yeah, this isn't right. This isn't right. What we did for the KiCad one is duplicate the record so that when we're writing part mappings, substitution records, we write KiCad specific ones with only the CSV fields in it that we want. So this isn't right. I don't think. It's like, sure, the reader needs to be able to read in just the fields that it wants. I'm not sure whether we should be writing them all down. I'm not sure we should have this defaults thing. Okay, all the tests pass. We'll carry on with the commit as it is, and then we'll come back and look at this, I think, because now that I look at this again, it just makes me think we should duplicate it like we did here, instead of using that defaults thing everywhere. Yeah. 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 Okay, so that was all fine, we basically said, except that it's not. And then in order to do that, we had to update the variant builder, add the EDA arg to it, and pass that through to the variant builder. Which then passes that to the thing that loads the placements so that it knows how to load the placements. And it uses the specific type of records for the type of placement. And then we have some code to print out labels for stuff that we put in trees. That all looks okay. So the thing that loads up the EDA placements was this. And we say if the EDA tool is dip trace, then load this type of records. If it's KiCad, we load this type of record. We look at the part mapping record. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to come back and have a look at that. I think when we load part mapping, perhaps we need to pass in the EDA tool like we do for the placements. And then perhaps just get rid of this EDA column that's on this part mapping record, or ignore it, or validate it. Have it on both. Probably keep it there and validate it, I think. Yeah. We'll come back to this. I don't like this. Now that I've got it like this, I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like it. Okay, and then we added, and then we did this stuff to do with criterias, right? Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, but we do the same thing, this substitution thing. See all this field stuff. It's there's a pattern emerging. It's like source field pattern, destination pattern, destination value, source destination, and it's just like a list of fields that's occurring. We can do better. We can do better here, much better. Uh, yeah. Then we've got the try from stuff. Yeah, there's definitely some refactoring to do here. Right. And then depending on the different when we're loading placements, depending on the EDA tool, we do different things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then in the EDA tool, we added type of tool. And then we needed the ability to format criteria and changes. There's probably some traits that should be used for that. And then we added support, refactored the substitute. It's not fine. And then we added some tests for the KiCad stuff. Yeah, fine. Which was confuzzling because I didn't see all the things that needed to be changed. And then we added the support for the different type of placement details that you can have. And then we added support for the KiCad part mapping records. And this feels more right. And again, here there's the same sort of like commonality thing going on here, where you've got a field with a name and another field with another name that goes to a manufacturer and part. Which could be defined as a part, then that could be flattened inside this record, which would probably be better. Because where you see two fields that are always used the same, it implies a structure should probably be there instead. And then this is sort of like our list of fields, you know, our map, essentially. Yeah, some patterns are emerging. Some patterns are emerging. Fine. Criteria. And only for the dip trace one can you match dip trace stuff, and you can't match anything else. Which is good because we couldn't have this before. So that makes sense. Huh. Not quite sure why this changed. We don't need these changes, whatever they were. It's binary file, you can't compare it. Roll that back. That one. Just that. Right, and then we've got some unversioned files to these. So we've got the KiCad criteria, which can't work on the dip trace ones. And then we've got the tests for it. Then we've got the KiCad placement records. Yeah, where you've got a list of fields and then the resulting fields again, same pattern. And then we've got a KiCad module. Yeah. Initial KiCad support. Jobs are good. Okay. Let's run all the tests on the command line. Everything passes. Control-Shift-K. Oh my god, I remembered it. We're on the wrong branch here at the moment. Git check out master. Git. Oh. Okay. Git add dot git ignore. Let's commit that. But it needs to be part of the KiCad commit. No. Something like this, right? And then let's go git merge KiCad support. No. Read basic on master. Let's do git log. Rebase it on origin master, and then squish this. Oh gosh. Who knows what paste is in this silly editor? Control U apparently, and then we need to fix that up. I need to change my editor environment variable so that it doesn't use nano. I'm not a big fan of nano. I'm not a big fan of Vim either. Right, now we can go back to master and merge the KiCad branch, but only if it applies cleanly with a forward thing. Oh yeah, because git reset head it, well, because there's another commit in the way, isn't there? There. As I squished that commit that was in master into the other one, so we need to remove it from master before we can fast forward the branch. Right, now we've got KiCad support and the assets with the git ignore file. And we have the rename before all the KiCad stuff. This is good. Let's run all the tests, make sure everything works fine. Everything's fine. And then we should be able to go into Mr. IDE and try and push it now that we're on the right branch. Push. And we've got 1,000 to-dos and lots of refactoring to do. But I think I'm going to call it there for this stream. And then I'll do a bit of refactoring. And yeah, at some point I'll do a stream where we do the refactoring. Honestly, the refactoring is one of the more interesting parts of like software development, to be honest. Refactoring is great. Yeah. We'll do some refactoring on stream at some point, because much of the stuff that we're doing is just basically writing the code initially, rather than the refactoring of the code. But I want you guys to see sort of like the process, you know, how we go to write it to start with, and then eventually what it looks like afterwards. Yeah, we'll do some more on that. Righto. So just remember, folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one. See you later. Bye.